tonight. We'll start with an opening statement and we'll take questions. Coach?
Yeah, obviously very disappointing night for us, but got to congratulate Rutgers for their effort. Obviously coming in without Harper, and their guys really rallied around each other. They were ready to play. Bailey was fantastic, but he, as great as he was, there were other guys that really stepped up and played well as well. I'm at a little bit of a loss for words because I can live with losing, but I just didn't love our energy and fight and defensive intensity in the first half. That was really the story of the game after we got off to a good start. I think we were up 9 there after the first 5 minutes. And then, our defense really slipped from there. And we just got to figure things out. Just like every team is going through, you get to February and, you're dealing with guys that are trying to be healthy and be ready to play in the games, and it really affects your practice time. And then you get slippage. So it's just a tough dynamic, trying to stay sharp and trying to stay solid with your habits. And that's where you got to really lean on veterans. We have an older team, and that's what I was disappointed in. Just coming off a loss in Champaign on Sunday, whether we won or lost, I just expected, especially in that first half, a little bit different energy and grit to our defense, because that's what's, we have to play well on the defensive end of the floor because, right now, we're not going to be a team that's going to score 85, 90, 95 points in a game. We're going to work hard to get into the 70s, and we got to keep teams in the 60s. And when teams are constantly 80 plus, that's going to be really hard for us. So we got to tighten up our defense. We got to figure things out. Obviously, there's no quit in our group. We're going to keep fighting. That's how we do things here. You fight as long as you can, as long as there's another game, and there's another game Saturday. And, just disappointed tonight that we weren't able to get the job done. That being said, Rutgers deserves a lot of credit. Pike had his team really ready to play, and obviously Bailey is one of the better talents in the conference, and when he gets going, he's really hard to stop.
Talk about your disappointment and your standards for this team, being the NCAA tournament. After this loss, do you still see a path forward for this team?
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about the tournament. I mean, we have 10 more games. I mean, like right now, it's like we even talked about tonight. You just win the next game. You just win the next game. I mean, you can talk about you don't even talk about the tournament. If we were 7-3, I wouldn't be talking about the tournament, and we're 3-7. So that doesn't even come into play when you're at the halfway point of the season. There's so much basketball. The goal is to win. Like our whole focus after we lost in Champaign was try to win. We needed to win against Rutgers. We needed to go 1-0. And that's going to be the theme again. Like we need to try to find a way to beat Wisconsin on Saturday afternoon, which won't be easy because obviously they're a terrific team. So, like we're not, and just like last year or years where we were at 7-3 or 7-4 or 6-4, we weren't talking about the tournament when we were winning too. So it's you stay in the present and you focus on the next game, and that's all we can do.
Coach Jalen Leach with a team high 23 points. It seems like he's really starting to find his form recently, especially on his shooting. What are you seeing out of him both today and in recent performances?
Yeah, his aggressiveness, has really been good. I mean, he had the Michigan game too. He didn't play the last 10 minutes. I think he had about 20 in that game. So, he's finding his way at this level. It was an adjustment for him early in the year, but really proud of how he's kind of navigating, the defenses that are thrown at him, the athletes. He has a lot of talent. He can really shoot the ball. He's got good size. He can get to the basket. And it's been good to see him improve, and obviously we need his scoring in a big way. So, and he's been delivering for us.
Coach, you talked about the defensive intensity, but also in the second half there was that 5.5-minute scoring drought after you guys cut it to 3.
Yeah.
What do you think happened there, and how do you think you guys?
Yeah, I mean, during that stretch, honestly, I thought we had some tough breaks. During the I think Brooks had that one where didn't he get 2 or 3 steals or rebounds and missed some layups, and I thought Nick had a couple floaters, that were kind of in and out. Ty had a 3 from the top of the key. We ran a nice play in and out there. We had some wasted possessions, obviously, with some tough shots and a couple careless turnovers. But really, I just thought we were little, but that's what we just said, just keep getting stops. We got to keep playing defense. But, yeah, that was definitely critical at 45-42 there. We had some possessions to get the game tied, even maybe get the lead, and who knows how the game changes if you can do that. So, yeah, I thought we had some misfortune on a couple shots we normally make during that stretch. But like you said, we got to – when you're doing that, you got to get to the free throw line or find a way to get a layup or an offensive rebound, and we weren't able to do that during that stretch.
Coach, you talked a little bit about defensive struggles. Ace Bailey had 37 points.
Yeah, right.
Is there anything specific you attribute that to?
Well, if he gets going, he's really hard to stop because he's 6'10", and he can shoot over top of you like you saw. And, really, we were trying to make him put the ball on the floor. That's where I was disappointed. He got a number in the first half where he just caught it and just jabbed and just shot in our face. And in the second half, we did a better job of getting him, and I think he was 4 for 10 in the second half. In the first half, he was getting to his sweet spots. He was jabbing us. He was shooting in our face. And that was not the game plan. Now give him credit. He's really talented, and obviously our guys haven't seen a guy at that size with that skill set. So give him credit for making those shots and really putting the team on his back offensively. But I thought we had some lapses in our coverage of how we wanted to guard him. He's going to score no matter what. We just wanted him to shoot more twos, and get him off the pull-up jump, kind of what he was doing in the second half, more pull-up jump shots. We fouled him a couple times, but we did start getting him to miss. He took a couple shots that were out of his rhythm, and that's what we were trying to do the whole game, but we did not do that in the first half at all.
Coach, it's now been about a 6 or 7 game stretch where Brooks is shooting about 35% of the floor.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to, and how do you get him back to those early season highs?
Yeah, health. Health. Brooks is. He's given everything he can, but he's battered. And I got so much respect, for everything he does just to get out on the floor with his teammates. You saw he had a tough fall the other night on a dunk and kind of banged up his wrist a little bit. He banged up his face. He's been dealing with a foot injury, all summer, all season. That is never going to be 100%. But he just battles through it, and he doesn't make excuses. But I think what happens, you can see, some of when it comes to some of the lift on his shot or the quick twitch explosiveness to kind of get by guys, it's not quite there, but he's still trying to find a way. And he did find a way in some of those games. Obviously had a huge game against Indiana, played a big game against Maryland, and we got to keep helping him, find a way to get, because we need his production, obviously scoring. We just don't have a lot of firepower. So, if we've been getting great production from Nick. Obviously, Jalen has really stepped it up. Ty has had a better stretch where he's been in double figures. And we need to try to help Brooks, get him into areas where he can get fouled, get some easier looks, for him.
Time for a couple more questions.
Yeah, you already kind of covered what I was going to ask about Ace Bailey.
Yeah.
How to defend him, but just the NBA hype that surrounds him.
Do what?
The NBA hype that surrounds
Yeah.
him.
He's good.
Yeah, just what do you think?
He's an NBA player. He's 6'10", and he's got an electric shooting range. You saw. You give him any kind of space. He's a really tough shot maker too. He can shoot with guys in his face. He can drive the ball. He's long. What I really like about him too is he plays hard. When you watch film, he has a motor. He plays hard every night for a young kid. Sometimes, especially one that's been hyped the way he has. To play with that kind of motor and play that hard, even in games when he struggled. He came off a game, I think his last game he was 4 for 19, against Michigan State in the Garden, but he just keeps playing, he keeps competing. He's got an amazingly bright future. There's just not many guys at 6'10" like that have that kind of skill set to be able to shoot the ball and put it on the floor and the athleticism that he has.
Last question, Ethan.
Coach, both Jordan Clayton and Blake Barkley rolled out tonight. Can you just comment on their status for this game?
Yeah, no, they we got hit. We got hit pretty hard with whatever's going around with the stomach bug, and there were others, during the week. They just got hit today, so it kind of ran through our locker room a little bit when we got back from Champaign. We had multiple players, multiple coaches that missed Monday, and we're kind of back yesterday, but still, dehydrated from not having eaten, and so I give our guys a lot of credit for battling. But everyone's going. That's not an excuse. You're just asking, what. And this morning we found out that it kind of had hit those two guys. So, and we just didn't want them to be around others to try to keep as many people as we could healthy, because we're in a stretch now with a lot of games. We want to try to avoid sickness as much as possible. So it's just sickness, and hopefully they'll be back with us on Saturday.
All
right, thank you, guys.
Everybody, Nick Martinelli, Jalen Leach. Any questions for these two? Tom?
Yeah, Nick, obviously a very tough loss tonight. I guess, when does the pressure start to kind of like sink in, knowing that you guys are trying to make the tournament, but it's like a game-by-game basis kind of like going forward, where you almost have to win like all these games going forward?
Yeah, I mean, we've always taken one game at a time, so it's nothing new to us. It obviously hurts like to drop this one tonight. I know nobody's happy about it, obviously. But yeah, we're on to Wisconsin. We got to win it, and we know we're gonna have to win a lot of games going forward.
For either of you, you guys had a stronger start tonight. I think at one point you had a 9-point lead there in the first half. What were some of those conversations like after the start you guys had at Illinois?
Well, we obviously knew, like, past couple of games we've had a really, really slow start, so we just want to be aggressive and just, set a defensive tone early, and I feel like that's what we did, but, we weren't consistent enough throughout the whole game, but, I guess something to build on to Wisconsin.
Coach mentioned that Brooks has been dealing with some injuries, and there's been a bug going around halfway into the Big Ten slate. How are you guys feeling physically? Just how are your bodies holding up?
Good.
Yeah, I feel good.
Jalen, you've been on average the team's leading scorer over the past 4 games. What do you feel like? What are you seeing? What do you feel is clicking for you at this crucial point in the season?
I'm just trying to be aggressive as I can. Obviously I'm the point guard, so I'm trying to, get other people involved as well. I'm just kind of seeing the game, better, as, we play better teams and stuff like that.
Nick, double-double for you tonight. How important is it, especially in games like this where the shots aren't always falling, to crash the boards and make sure your team gets a couple extra possessions?
Yeah, I mean, shots haven't really been falling as of late, but I really just care about winning at the end of the day. Like, Northwestern's like my family, and I've kind of gotten to grow up here, especially basketball-wise, and yeah, every game that we lose just hurts, so I try my hardest, just to do whatever I can to win. Would help if, I could get a shot to fall, but yeah, definitely had to get back on the glass.
Ace Bailey had 37 points tonight. What was it about his game that made it so hard to defend him?
Obviously he's a very talented player. He has a good size, 6'10", so he could shoot, over pretty much anybody, so I felt like we made him take a lot of tough shots, but he just made some shots, and that's what he did.
For either of you, it looks like you guys are going to a 2-man game with both of you in it involved a lot more recently. How do you guys play off each other so well?
I feel like it just starts from the summer. In the summer we didn't really have a lot of guys, so it was just kind of like me and Nick orchestrating the offense. So I feel like we just built up a lot of chemistry, from that, especially early in the year when Brooks was out too. So it's just, knowing his game, he knows my game. So I feel like we kind of play off well together.
Yeah, those guys kind of came into this game needing it as much as you guys did. Like, did this feel like kind of a lot of added intensity or ramifications, knowing like both of you guys needed this win to, get the season where you want it to be?
Yeah. Yeah, we knew we needed to, kind of get this one. yeah, I just felt like the fight wasn't there. You know, we're going to have to look ourselves in the mirror at the end of the day and change things if we're going to win games. You know, the Big Ten is so hard. You know, and since I've been here, it's been, you know, we've had a lot of good moments, a lot of wins, and it just really hurts, you know. So, yeah, they were ready to go. I felt like we were ready to go as well, but as the game went on, you know, and they started to take the lead, we kind of just gave in.
All right, that wraps us up for tonight. Thank you.